Welcome everyone, Josh here with BrickT, and today we're checking out my Lego haul from the Lego store. And this we actually got from the Pickabrick wall in Toronto, which is actually one of the only ones in the area near me. So we had to journey to Toronto to get these ones, but we did manage to pick up 3 cups and some specialty pieces in them as well. Now you'll see we've got these pink heart plate pieces. We've got a lot of these smaller 1x1 pieces as well, and the round pieces and like flower pieces. And then we do get some specialty colors and some like golden chains here as well. So before we get into the actual cups and get those open, I wanted to take a moment to take a look at one of my older cups so you can kind of help maximize how many pieces you're getting if you ever do manage to go to a Pickabrick wall. Now there's lots of videos online talking about how to maximize pieces and how you can stack pieces to fit more into the container, but I just wanted to touch briefly on a couple basic tips that everyone can take advantage of. Now, of course, the way that these are designed is they have the lid and the bottom of the cup where you can actually kind of have them sit on top of each other, very similar to a Lego piece with a stud on the top of the lid. Now, of course, because you have that, it does make a ring in the inside, where if you can see in there, it's got a bit of a ring on the outside, and you can use smaller pieces to fill that in. So a lot of times you'll see smaller pieces in the bottom of the cup, just trying to maximize what you're getting. Now, of course, as you're putting pieces in here, like I said, stacking them is going to maximize how many pieces you get. Some people like to be very strict on how they stack them. Me, I just try and stack them for a while until I get sick of doing it in the store, and then I just fill it in with a bunch of smaller pieces around. Now, of course, with the lid, most of the time in the stores, they just want you to make sure the lid will fit on top of it. Some stores are actually very strict that it actually has to kind of like snap down and sit in place. Other stores, they don't mind if you have it where it just kind of touches the ring and just has the rim touching. Most of the time, they'll help tape it down. So if it's a little bit off, they'll let you kind of go from there. But always remember to try and put something in the middle on top, even if it's just a couple of like 2x4 pieces, just like stacked together with 4 of them, 2 on top of 2, and then that way you can actually fill in the stud at the top. So that's just maximizing again how many pieces you're getting in your collections when you go to the Pickabrick wall. All right, so let's take a look at the first cup. Now right away you'll notice, of course, the cups can hold a fair amount of pieces. And look at the collection of pieces we've got. We've got a lot of these longer ramped kind of curved pieces. I love these ones actually because they're very helpful with giving that kind of curved look to a build. Got a lot of these specialty ones, like I said, where we get these heart plates. But overall, a nice collection of interesting pieces that we can build with. All right, next up we've got cup number 2. So let's take a look at these ones. Oh, now this one, the tape's a little bit stronger on the second cup. Man, they really tape these ones good, trying to keep the lids on. Of course, they don't want these spilling on the ride home. Get that tape off of there. All right. So first got the piece that go into the top. Gonna fill in that stud at the top. And then here is our collection of different kinds of pieces that we got in cup number 2. Oh, they're spilling everywhere. Now, of course, in cup 2, this one we actually did try to maximize the amount of pieces we got. So we did get a couple of things built like this, just trying to maximize the number of pieces. Because of course you'll get more pieces if you combine a few of them together, instead of just putting them in all loose. So this was just an attempt to kind of maximize and fill in some of the spaces on the sides with all of these things that have been built together. And I gotta say, this one was a nice surprise to find in the Lego store. These nice colorful, almost looks like sky or kind of like galaxy and like glittery kind of pieces. So I was happy to add that one to the collection. And then finally, we've got cup number 3. Now we'll just go ahead and get some of the tape off of these ones. And of course, maximizing what we get with the stud piece on top. Oh, got a piece sticking out there. But yeah, let's see what we got today in this one in the third cup. Oh, starting to go everywhere already. Be careful pouring these ones out. A lot of the small pieces, especially towards the bottom, like to kind of go everywhere. And then like you saw before, you'll see I have a nice big piece in there. Trying to maximize and get a few of these bigger kind of plate pieces. And then I did manage to find these yellow kind of gold chains, and I figured these would be interesting to use in a build at some point. So I figured I might as well grab a bunch of those while they were there. You don't always see all of these parts. The Pickabrick wall is always changing, of course. But we got a nice collection of bricks here. So after getting a chance to crack open all of the cups, I've gone ahead and pulled out one piece of each type from each of the cups so we can take a look at the collection of different pieces we've got today. Now, of course, we'll start off with cup number 1, where we actually get a couple of extra unique pieces in this one. Now we'll start off, we have this 1x10 sloped dark blue piece, and I like these kinds of pieces because they're very good to add detail to a build, adds a bit of a curve, a bit of a different kind of look to it, and this one is a nice elongated kind of curve to it, so this is going to be a nice addition to builds and definitely going to make it look sleek, I think. Now next up we've got some of the common pieces. We've got the 2x8 piece, which these plate pieces, they're always good to add to your builds and help build like a nice kind of base or add a little bit more structure to it. And then we've also got the 1x6 of the light blue, kind of like a sky blue kind of look to it, and I like that one because it's going to be a nice addition, and I like getting like 1x6s and stuff like that to add to my collection. Next up we've got this blue plate piece done up as the 2x3, and again these ones are nice to add to your collection, especially when you want something to be a little bit offset. So we got a bunch of those to add to the collection. And last up for the plate pieces, we've got the most unique plate piece I think I picked up, which is this one done up in the pink, and it's a heart shape. Now it's also an odd thing because it's basically like a 3x3 piece, which is not a very common piece. We do see like the 2x3s and the 1x3s, but not a 3x3. They're not as common. So I'll be interested to see how we can use that in some builds. Now switching over, we've got these bracket pieces done up in the black. Now these ones have the 4 studs on the side, and very good to help add more kind of dimensions to your build. Instead of having a more linear build, you can actually build off to the side now. And next we've got another bracket piece, this time done up in gray, a dark gray, and it's actually a smaller kind of bracket piece, whereas the previous one, it was kind of more like hanging down from the top of the piece, whereas this one is kind of from the bottom up. Now we did get a 1x1 brick piece in this cup. This one actually has the extra studs on the side, but instead of it being like a stud on the front and a stud on the back, it's more of a stud on the front and a stud on the side. So probably a very specialized piece for when you're building in the corner of a building, but it's still going to be a nice addition. Now after that, we've got a couple smaller pieces, just helping to fill in some of the gaps we had. We've got this like purple cheese slope piece, just a common piece, but in a not so common color. So I was happy to add that one because purple's not something you see all of the time. Next, we've got kind of like a clip piece, but this one done up with the kind of rounded tube on it. And you can mount studs on the side of that, but of course you can also use it to like insert things into it and have it kind of stick off. That specialized gold piece we got in one of the cups that we'll see in a minute, that one actually could fit in here, of course. And last up for the pieces from this cup, we've got this light gray clip piece where it has the clip piece off to the side, just a 1x1 stud otherwise, but this is a very common piece and it isn't a common color as well. Now switching over to the second cup, this is where we got the most amount of unique pieces from the cups that we got today. So we've got some of the browns, a couple different shades, the 2x8 in the lighter kind of tan color, and then we've got a little bit of a darker 2x6 brick, the plate piece. And then we've got some white here with the corner piece where it's the 2x2x1 as they call it. And then we've got the offset piece here where we have the 1 stud in the middle, but it can be mounted to 2 studs on the bottom. Now, as we get into some of the other smaller pieces, we got some more standard ones with the 1x3 red piece. We've got the 2x3 blue pieces. Definitely great to having those plates to add to your builds, especially if you're doing like an odd number kind of build where you need like 3 across or 5 across. It's always good to get a few of those because those can help add some stability to your build. And then we've got a couple of the bracket pieces again. These ones done up in the like teal kind of color. And then we've also got these purple ones where they're a little bit smaller, but those are still going to come in handy when we're trying to build more unique things. And a couple of the more unique pieces we got here, we got the this kind of golden kind of like curling piece here, where it kind of looks like it could be like a detail piece. You could add some like door framing, or you can add some more detail to your builds. And it's got the peg slots so we can actually mount it on a couple of pieces, like that black piece from the first cup we were looking at. Now we've also got these like very light, kind of almost pale green of the brick that's like too high, but it has the 2 studs on the side of it. So definitely adding so we can add more detail to our sets. And then as we get to the really small pieces, this is where we get some of the standard kind of 1x1 round pieces, but we got a couple of them in the purple and green where they kind of are more like flowers. So it's a nice touch there. We got a standard one done up in the red. We got a couple of small stars in different shades, so those will be great to add to some builds, just adding more detail to them. And then we got the 1x1 clear translucent piece. And we've got one of my favorite pieces from the pieces we actually picked up, where we've got this 1x1 brick where it's got this kind of glitter kind of pattern to it. But that was a nice touch because I don't usually see those kind of specialized pieces at the Pickabrick wall. But that's going to be a great addition to my collection, and I'll have to see what I can do with that. Now we did also get this black piece where it's like the 1x4 but with like the reverse kind of curve on the bottom. And I like the fact that we got that piece because that's going to be good for builds. So that'll be good to add some more detail and make a more rounded kind of look to a lot of the builds we'll be probably doing. Now switching over to the last cup, this is where we didn't get as much in the way of like a bunch of different kind of unique pieces, but we did get some pieces that are going to be good for builds. So we've got the larger 8x8 gray piece done up in the light gray. That's going to be good for just having it as like a base plate for when you're building. And then we've of course got some of the white pieces with the 2x2x1 corner piece. And we did get the white bracket piece matching the black bracket piece we got in the first cup. But it's nice getting a couple different colors of that piece because it helps add the option of changing how you're doing your builds and getting different colors incorporated into it. Now, of course, I wanted to get more of the bracket pieces, so we've got the purple and teal brackets again. And we got the red piece, of course, just filling in some of the gaps. And then I did get this kind of clip piece done up in like the very pale kind of green. A nice piece to get, and that's going to be helpful for mounting specialized pieces like that gold piece we were seeing before. And then one of the highlights from the pieces we were getting, I did get this kind of golden chain, and I got a bunch of them. So I figured those will be great to add to a build, maybe see what I can do with those in the future, maybe add some additional detail to some sets. But that's a nice addition to get to in the collection today. So after getting a chance to take a look at all of the pieces that we got today, I think we got a lot of good pieces and a lot of different colors too, which are going to make for some interesting, unique builds. So I can't wait to get to building. But this is a newer kind of style video for the channel, so let me know your thoughts on this kind of video in the comments below. Would you like to see more hauls? And hey, maybe next time when we do a haul, instead of just getting pieces, maybe we'll get a few sets as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you guys like and subscribe, and of course get that bell on to stay up to date with all of our new videos. Now before you go out and pick up some bricks for your next haul, just be sure to tell everyone that you just got bricked.